What's up, everybody? Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you may be. Thank you for tuning in to the Man Cave Sports Talk podcast, where you get real talk, real sports, no agenda, just passion. I'm your boy, the Sactown Packhound, with my co-host, Tim the Packer Hill. And without further ado, let's go! All right, Tim, we ain't been here in a minute. It's been a long time.
What, about a month?
It's been about a month. It's been a lot of crazy stuff going on in my life, a lot of businesses going on, and kind of took a back seat, but had to come back because this is the best time of year. We got football about to start. Football! Come on. And fantasy leagues going crazy. Yeah, I will be winning this year in both leagues. If you guys have not checked out the YouTube, Sactown Packhound, check that out. We have our fantasy draft that we are both in, and there's a contest on there. Watch it. If you pick correctly who comes in first and who comes in last, everybody that picks that correctly is going to get a guaranteed PSA slab worth over $100 or more. All right, so check that video out. Leave a comment. Who's going to come in first? Me. Who's going to come in last? Probably Ken.
I agree.
All right.
Well, no.
Oh, no, there's some bad ones this year.
The Rook Nasty dude.
He's pretty bad.
Yeah,
he's pretty bad.
He's terrible.
All right, so we're going to go over today who we think is going to come in first through fourth in each division. We're also going to do the way too early Super Bowl prediction, and then we're going to go over who we think our top 10 fantasy picks are. All right, so let's start at AFC East. We got the Patriots, Jets, Bills, and Dolphins. I rank them in this order. Dolphins 1, Bills 2, Jets 3, and Patriots 4. Patriots and Giants are going to be fighting for who's the worst team in the league this year.
Patriots are on the clock.
They're on the clock.
They're on the clock for the 2020.
100%.
Yeah, no, they just announced that Brissett is their starter, and you've already mailed in the season.
Yeah.
Just put Drake May in there and just see what happens.
I don't think they want to sacrifice his career because they know how bad their line is. And so they're like, we'll give him a year to learn and see what we can do next year.
You're learning behind Jacoby Brissett.
I mean, Jacoby Brissett did pretty well the past couple of stops that he was at. At least he's a veteran back there. And to be honest, I don't think he's going to last all year. With that line, he's going to get hurt. I mean, they probably have the worst line in the league. It's bad.
Well, it's probably the worst line. It's the worst receiving core.
For sure.
Hunter Henry's a pretty good tight end.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's around him after that. The running back is Ramondre Stevenson.
So they just gave a massive contract too, which is crazy. You know, they have to give the money out to somebody, and they weren't going to give it to the quarterbacks who normally get it. So they had to give it to somebody. He was just a lucky bastard that was on the team at the time.
I mean, they tried to give it to Brandon Ayuk, but he wouldn't go.
Yeah, so, exactly. Exactly.
My rankings for that, believe it or not, if Aaron Rodgers comes back and plays the way Aaron Rodgers is supposed to play, which he probably has 1-2 years left, and I believe he can.
Yeah.
I think this could be a chip on the shoulder, and anytime Rodgers has a chip on his shoulder, he wins MVP. It's ridiculous. He plays like he does. I have the Jets winning the division. I have the Bills second. I have the Dolphins third, which all three could make the playoffs.
Right.
Depending on how it all shakes out, they're all going to be in the mix.
Right.
And then obviously the Patriots is dead last.
So I have the Dolphins first only because they're the only team to me that top to bottom, I don't see a weakness. They have very good running backs. They have very good receivers. Their quarterback went crazy last year. Granted, he's a concussion away from death, but who's not? The Bills, they lost too much, man. Yeah. Their receiving core is out. Now, I will say, I think Dalton Kincaid is going to have 120 plus receptions this year, but outside of that, who is their number one? Is it Curtis Samuel? Is it Keon Coleman? Is it Khalil Shakir? It's like you don't know.
It's like the Packers have 4 receivers.
Yeah, but they're all proven.
Correct.
You know,
all up to a point.
Yeah. The Jets, you're exactly right. They could be very good. They could also be very bad. It's all going to depend on Aaron Rodgers. And you and I both know how we got when we got in our 40s. Things start changing.
Yeah.
He is very, very good, but age eventually does catch up to everybody. But this is one where 1, 2, and 3, they could be in any order.
Yeah.
You just never know.
I also think that depending on how things go in Las Vegas and how they start for the Jets, is there a possibility of the Devontae Adams move?
Oh, I think as a Raiders fan, I hope not, but I think it will. And to be honest, as much as I hate it, man, because I love Devontae, I wouldn't blame him if he left.
Yeah.
It's just we have so much talent in every single position except for quarterback. We are a quarterback away from winning the AFC West, I think. So
I completely agree. I think you have a pretty solid team everywhere, but the one position you need to have a solid player.
Yep.
Minshew is serviceable. We'll talk about Las Vegas in a bit. But the whole Devontae Adams thing, if you watch the receivers on Netflix, you saw how Devontae Adams was just pissed.
Yeah.
Most of that season dealing with a shit quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, most of that was Garoppolo and also Josh Daniels.
Yeah. And they're both gone.
They're both gone.
Still have Aiden O'Connell there.
Yeah.
Who didn't get the starting nod.
Right.
And he brought in Minshew, who just came from another backup gig somewhere else.
Now, I've said this stat before, and it's a weird stat, but Trevor Lawrence he's one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league. I don't like Trevor Lawrence. I think he's severely overrated. But if you look at career stats, Trevor Lawrence and Gardner Minshew, they literally mirror each other. I think Minshew has less interceptions, but touchdowns, same. Yards, same. It's almost identical. It's crazy. We'll actually move on to the, AFC West. AFC West, I got the Chiefs in first. Now, this is very controversial. This might be a homer pick. I do have the Raiders in second, Chargers third, Broncos fourth. Chiefs, they got too much. And on top of that, it's coach. Andy Reid is a freaking genius. That dude just knows how to use personnel. Raiders, I have them number 2 because, yes, our quarterback is average. But I've been saying this. I'm very certain our defense is going to be a top 10 D, and I think our defensive line is going to be a top 5. When you got Christian out there, you got Malcolm Kuntz, and you got Max Crosby leading that charge, we are going to be a terror on the line. And then we have Jack Jones, who's doing really, really well. I think the Chargers, I think they're going to be good in a few years. I think it's going to take them a while. They don't have anybody to throw the ball to. Justin Herbert didn't do great last year with people to throw the ball to. They're going to be running the ball a ton, which is good. That's why they drafted Joe Alt. But they also have running backs that none of them could stay on the field. They went and got both Ravens running backs who haven't played a full season ever.
Yeah, there's a lot of broken stuff in the Chargers. And I'm not sold on Jim Harbaugh either.
No.
He was a decent coach in San Francisco before he went to Michigan. And literally Michigan's now got all sorts of issues that we may talk about later on, may not, but I'm not sold on him. I have the order of Chiefs winning, then the Chargers and the Raiders and the Broncos. I don't think any of the 3 teams below the Chiefs end up over 500. I think 8 and 9 is the ceiling on most of those teams just because of the lack of weapons for Los Angeles.
I know.
They're still the San Diego Chargers.
Dude, they're still the San Diego Chargers, and they're still the Oakland Raiders in my head. It's so crazy to say.
And the Raiders, the quarterback is just going to be their downfall again this year. And then if that's the case, then you're going to start losing talent.
I will say, though, what is the absolute best thing that an average quarterback can have is a good tight end. And we got 2 of them. And I think that not only that, but what Antonio Pierce did in bringing in people like Marvin Lewis and, who else did he bring in? Was it Coughlin? He brought in somebody else. I think it's really they're going to put a game plan together, I think, where with our defense, I don't think we're going to have to be putting up 30 points a game. I think that we're going to be holding teams, especially in our division. The Chiefs, we play them well every year. Yeah. We either beat them or we're right there every year. I mean, we whooped their ass last year and sent them on their way to the freaking Super Bowl. I think that kind of lit a fire under their ass the way that we, you know what I'm saying, put it on them. But I think our division is, you know, up for grabs. I think that if our defense plays up to expectations and Minshew can be serviceable, I could see us sneaking in a wild card myself. But again, all these are one injury away from, you know.
That's it. It only takes one.
Yeah. The AFC North, this one is tricky. This is one where it could literally go in any order, I think. I have it going Ravens, then Bengals, and then Browns, and then Steelers. But this is another one where Bengals and Ravens could be swapped. It's just Joe Burrow hasn't had a truly healthy season in a few years. I need to see him stay healthy. They lost Joe Mixon. They're going to be relying on Chase Brown and Zach Moss. T. Higgins is very disgruntled. There's just it's not all candy canes over there right now, and I don't know how it's going to freaking play out. And with the Ravens addition of Derrick Henry, that's going to be a dangerous team along with their defense. They got some weapons over there. I think Mark Andrews is going to be kind of back to his old self. He's been bad the past couple of years. He's been, you know, injured a lot, but I don't think the Steelers are going to do much. They always seem to make the playoffs. I don't know how. Their defense, yeah.
I mean, my order is a little different than that. I have the Bengals winning. I have Baltimore second. I have Pittsburgh third, and I have Cleveland fourth.
Wow. When the Browns defense, I don't know.
Browns defense will keep them engaged. This is kind of similar to the Las Vegas issues.
Mm-hmm.
Offensively, they're going to be challenged again. I'm not sold on Deshaun Watson there. He didn't do anything.
No.
When he was on the field for the first however many games he was on before he got hurt again. Chubb is gone. You got Jerome Ford. Chubb may not be back. He may be back, but even that, he's got two sticks that don't work. The Steelers have the lack of everything on offense. They can't run it even though they have running backs. They can't throw it even though they've got receivers. They have a tight end that they don't use, and Pat Fryer, which they should.
Nice tight end, man.
But their defense keeps them in games, and they keep giving Tomlin a winning record every year.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
They get bounced real quick when they get there, but they don't make it.
But they get there. And, I mean, the division's going to beat up at everybody.
Oh, that's a tough.
I don't think anybody's going undefeated in that division.
No.
I mean, 4-2
that
may be your
tough division.
But I mean, we'll get to the Super Bowl picks later, but I have Cincinnati going a pretty long ways.
I just don't see it, man. I don't think their defense is good enough. I don't think that I love Jamar Chase and I love Joe Burrow. I need to see Joe Burrow stay healthy, which he has not been able to freaking do. And besides that,
What he did,
he
is Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yep. And that was a while ago, and there's a lot more younger teams in the league now.
A couple of years.
A couple of years. So there's a lot more teams in the freaking league now fighting now.
Yeah, but there's only one team that has Kansas City's number, and that is Joe Burrow at Cincinnati.
I think the Raiders got their number.
Well, but the Raiders have to get to the playoffs to have the number.
Yeah.
I mean, you can beat them on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day when maybe they don't care to play. I don't know.
Yeah.
But during the regular season, I mean, anybody can have anybody's number. During the playoffs, it's different now.
AFC South, this is an interesting division because we have three of the top picks leading the way. How I got it, I have the Texans, then the Colts, then the Titans, then the Jags. I got the Jags in last. Texans, they just have too many weapons. They looked really good last year. I don't think they're going to be slowing down anytime soon. I think the additions of Stephon Diggs, I don't think he's going to do great, but I think they were brilliant for bringing him in on a one-year deal because he kind of has to behave or else it's going to affect his next deal. It's going to open up Nico Collins and Tank Dell so much. But they also brought in the one weakness they had when they got to the playoffs. They could not run the ball. They could not run the ball. And they brought in Joe Mixon, and although he's not what he used to be, he's still a very good back. He's a veteran. I think that's going to help them a ton. The Colts, I know you don't like Anthony Richardson. I like Anthony Richardson. I think Jonathan Taylor's going to be back to his old self. They do have some weapons. The Titans are interesting because Will Levis has all the talent in the world. he showed it in some games, and there was other games where it was like, what the hell are you doing, bro? So, like, which one of those is going to come out? And the Jags, I've always thought Trevor Lawrence was overrated. I really did. I know he has the talent. Every quarterback in the NFL has talent. I know he has arm strength and all that. They have no weapons on offense besides Travis Etienne. Travis Etienne is going to be a beast, but they're going to kill that guy, giving him the friggin' 350 touches.
Evan Ingram is a pretty good.
Yeah. But who's he throwing the ball to?
Yeah, a bunch of rookies.
And their defense is not very good. It's a young, very young division with a lot of talent, and I just don't see the Jags being up there.
Yeah, I have the Texans first. I think CJ Stroud is a good quarterback, even though I hate Ohio State and all of their quarterbacks can come out. I'm on record for that one. I actually have the Jags second. I think the Jags have a decent team, both offensive and defensively. Trevor Lawrence is a good quarterback. They have a running attack. They have great tight end in Evan Ingram. They have young receivers. The rookie that they Brian Thomas, I think could be a stud. He could be one of those sleeper guys that will show up around mid-year, and you'll start to know, hey, this guy's pretty good. And then I have to put Indianapolis in third. Yes, I would rather dump them in fourth, but I think the Titans will be fourth. But I think that the bottom three teams are, once again, they're fighting for 500 life. They're 7-10, 8-9. Titans maybe 6-11, unless Will Levis plays really well.
Right.
We haven't seen a whole lot from.
Well, I mean, I think that Will Levis last year he had DeAndre Hopkins. He literally didn't have anything else.
He's got Calvin Ridley.
Calvin Ridley is a good receiver. He has a chip on his shoulder right now because he kind of got written off. And I think last year with the Jags, I think he did pretty well. If you look at his overall stats, I think he did pretty well.
I just don't know how they're going to run the ball with Pollard or Spears.
That's a thing. I didn't understand the Tony Pollard acquisition because it's a lateral move. Tyjae Spears does the exact same thing. I think he's a much better back.
There's no real running back.
No, I would if I was the coach. I don't know what they're seeing. From what I saw with Tyjae Spears, I like that guy. I think he's a good running back. I don't know why Tony Pollard he had one decent year in Dallas,
and that was out of the third down back.
Yeah.
Role. That wasn't.
And as soon as he started, he went to shit.
Yeah, he's trash.
It was terrible. But they bring him in as a starter. I don't understand that. I do believe that Tyjae Spears, midway through the season, is going to be the starting back. Myself.
I believe so too. I think Pollard's run is done.
Yeah.
Unless he's just going to be their third down back. And
right.
Just swing him out of the backfield. It was good.
Just like they did. Yeah. Why change it if it ain't broke?
Well, we'll see what they do because they also have a new head coach too.
Yeah. So, yeah. All right, NFC East. This is a fun one. So we know who's going to be at the bottom. Giants are a dumpster fire.
Trash cans
everywhere. They do have Malik Neighbors, which I feel bad for because that dude is a nice receiver. But
drafted him just because he's the only one.
He's going to get a lot of freaking receptions. I got Eagles 1, Cowboys 2, Commanders 3, Giants 4. Eagles are one of those teams, man, where they could end up first, they could end up third. Like, it's just one of those things that are they going to play like they started or how they ended? And the acquisition of Saquon Barkley is so interesting because last year, I know that Jalen Hurts had a ton of the tush-push touchdowns, but I was reading a stat earlier today where DeAndre Swift got tackled on the 1 6 times last year. 6 times. Like,
so there's 6 guaranteed touchdowns.
6 guaranteed touchdowns, right? You take half of his rushing touchdowns away. Yeah. Just off of that. And with Saquon, he adds that dimension. He's very good catching out the backfield. He's a dynamic runner. I think he has a fire under him right now. It's one of those things they have a lot of weapons. They have a lot of very good receivers, good tight ends, running backs, quarterbacks. I mean, it's one of those things where it could go any, you know what I'm saying? It's going to go how Jalen Hurts goes. The Cowboys, I hate the Cowboys. I hate Jerry Jones. I don't know what he's doing. Did they sign CD yet?
CD is signed.
So they finally signed CD, haven't extended Dak, haven't extended Micah freaking Ose Parsons. I told you how I felt about receivers holding out at camp. It never turns out good. They seem to get hurt a lot. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. The Cowboys are very good during the season. As soon as they get to the playoffs, they're trash.
Yeah, the Packers poke them.
Every single freaking
So much
year.
fun to watch.
And the Commanders, I think, are going to be... I don't think they're going to be a good team. I think they're going to be fun to watch with Jaden Daniels. I don't think they have enough to... Although I do like Brian Robinson a lot. Terry McLaurin's kind of getting up there. I don't know how he's going to be, but they have a lot of talent. I just think they're in a hard division.
Yeah, I have the same order you do. Washington Giants could flip-flop.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Washington has a lot of talent. They have an unproven quarterback, unproven rookie quarterback who likes to run a lot. He's from LSU. I've watched him all year. He's got a good arm. I'm not sold on him. And doesn't have two black-white quarterback. He just doesn't. I'm an SEC guy. I watched him. There were games that he looked not good.
I mean, you could say that about there's not a quarterback in college that looks good every single game.
But I also cannot stand Anthony Richardson either, but I watched him every Saturday throwing Cheetos at my TV. He pissed me off so bad. But they got rid of Jahan Dotson. I don't even know outside of Terry McLaurin. I know they drafted another wide receiver.
I know they got De'Ami Brown, which I like. I think he's just been buried on the depth chart.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't understand the move for Jahan Dotson. I don't understand that.
Unless he just wanted out and said, hey, just trade me or something.
I mean, they gave him Jahan Dotson and a 5th round pick for like a 3rd round pick.
Yeah. It wasn't a whole lot to.
I don't understand it. And we all know the Giants are going to be at the freaking.
Yeah. But the thing with Philly is what broke after week 12 last year?
Right.
No, it's not like they went through the injury bug where half their team went down.
Well, I think Jalen Hurts, I could be wrong on this. I think he had 20 interceptions on the year. He had a lot of picks.
But what transpired between going 10-1 to just getting their ass handed week in, week out?
Exactly.
I mean, is bringing in Saquon Barkley, who may or may not be injured half the year, going to help them? I understand Jahan Dotson coming over is going to help the receiving corps, but the defense side of the ball, where they just lost Bradbury for the season,
big,
which may or not be big. I don't know if he should be their starter anyways. He's got cover issues. He's like having Kevin King when Kevin King was on the Packers. He's highly touted, great range, can't cover shit. Couldn't believe it. And then he's been around, and now he's out of the league after 3 years. But Bradbury's the same way. I mean, he talks a big game. You see all the stats he has, but he can't cover shit. I don't know what broke. I mean, looking back at some of the games and trying to see what took place. Why did you guys get your ass handed to you week in, week out, or teams that you shouldn't be losing to, like Arizona, without Kyler Murray?
I think a bigger concern is losing Kelsey. I think that people say quarterback is the most important position on the field, and it is, but center is right after that, because they are calling everything out. And he has been there a long time. He's possibly the best center that's ever played. Losing him is going to be so big to that team.
I think so too.
I think it's not even being talked about, but it's just like, that's massive. And it's not just, it's for Jalen Hurts. It's for the run game. The tush push, he was the center of that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big deal.
That guy was,
he moved people.
He did.
He moved.
And he wasn't the biggest guy.
No. He had leverage and he knew how to do it, because other teams try it and they're not nearly as successful.
And I'm tired of seeing it.
I am too.
I think they got to get that out of there.
NFC West. This is one, man, where this one could go any way. I really do. So I have it like this, but again, it could change, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. So I have it Niners, Rams, Seahawks, Cardinals. I have Niners, but I'm so skeptical about that, man. Same reason I'm skeptical of picking CMC. I would not want the first pick of the draft. Mainly because Trent Williams still has not signed.
Correct.
Trent Williams is one of the most important tackles in the game, especially for that team.
Yeah.
He's held out before, and he's on the verge of retirement anyway. He doesn't have to sign.
No.
And if he doesn't sign, they're going to have problems. CMC is not going to be nearly as effective.
Neither will Debo.
No, neither will, you don't say Debo. Ayuk just signed today.
Correct.
So he hasn't really been, you know what I'm saying, doing much of anything. I think that they have, I don't want to say overachieved, but I think they played to the highest of their capabilities. And it hasn't been enough, although they did get to the game, right? But I don't see them elevating. And the Rams, if Matthew Stafford stays healthy, I could see that flip-flopping. They have a lot of talent there. Kyron Williams is a beast if he can stay healthy. Well, you got Cooper Kupp back at full strength now, which he was not last year.
Correct.
He's back at full strength. You still got, you don't say a Puka. You got some weapons on that team. The Seahawks, they got a lot of talent, but the quarterback situation, Geno Smith did very well. He's not the answer.
Well, Seahawks have the new offensive coordinator, new head coach.
Yeah.
They brought in a system where they're going to be chucking it around a lot.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So I think the receiving core there is going to have ample opportunities.
And I do think Jackson Smith and Jigba is going to take over Tyler Lockett's spot. If you watch last year, how they used JSN was ridiculous. He was getting nothing but like screen passes. I'm like, use this dude down the field. What are you doing? Like, I don't understand some of the... And then the Cardinals are another one. The Cardinals got talent. The Cardinals, well, they got some talent. They got Kyler Murray. I'm not a big fan of him, but when he's on, he has played well. Marvin Harrison Jr., obviously, and I think Trey McBride is one of the best tight ends in the league that no one knows about. He's just not utilized.
Yeah.
And then
you didn't really see anything from Arizona last year because Kyler was on the punt.
And then James Freya-Connor, who I refuse to draft him in every league I've ever been in, but he whips my ass every year. Every time I play him, he scores 3 touchdowns. I don't understand the guy.
He just gets yards. Nothing is flashy. Nothing is.
Yep.
Everything is just
Michael started.
Yeah, it's just right there. And he'll get the 5-yard touchdown. He'll get the 5-yard pass to score. He does things out of the backfield. He catches passes. He's a pretty decent blocker. He does all of the little things that you need to do to stay on the field. Mm-hmm. And when he's on the field, they do win games.
Yep.
When he's off the field and Byron Murray's off the field, it's a train wreck.
Yeah, for sure.
Because their defense can't hold up.
No.
And I haven't seen or heard of anything different that they've done.
That's why I got them in the freaking basement.
I do. Yeah, I have them in the basement too. I have the same order as you. I think San Francisco wins the division. I think the Rams come second. Seattle's third. The Rams defensively didn't get any better.
Losing Aaron Donald, they're hurt.
Yeah, so I just don't know. I mean, they'll probably win 9 games, 10 games. I mean, a lot of these teams are so mediocre that it's like 8-9, 9-8.
Yeah.
And then an injury away from 6-11.
That's the big thing. Like, all these are great at the beginning of the season when there's no major injuries.
Yeah.
Like, so far, knock on wood, it wasn't like it was last year where you have a ton of stars going out early and out for the year. So far, we've been pretty lucky.
Yeah.
You know,
well, that's because they've all learned.
Yeah. Stop playing people in preseason.
We're not going to play in the preseason.
Yeah.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers didn't play the entire preseason. Mm-hmm. Jordan Love played 1 series of the preseason, threw a 65-yard touchdown, sat down, hadn't seen the field since. Most of the starters are not playing the preseason.
Yeah.
So will there be rust?
Oh, the first 2 weeks of the season are always stupid, bro.
But I don't even see how that can be, because they have these joint practices where they are playing 11 on 11, obviously not killing the quarterbacks.
But they're playing super vanilla. They're not really showing anything.
Correct.
They're just going out there to hit each other.
Yeah, you're not going to see the
motion.
schemes.
Right.
Okay, so you're not going to see all the razzle-dazzle.
Yeah.
You're not going to see a whole bunch of the stuff that you're going to see during the season. But they're just trying to save people.
Yeah.
And figure out what kind
Who's going to make the team. And yeah. We'll save your division for last. We'll go NFC South. I think this is going to be a fun division to watch, and we might have it way different, but I got the Falcons, then the Bucks, then the Saints, then the Panthers, but this could definitely flip-flop. I think Cousins going to the Falcons was probably the biggest move of the offseason. I think wherever he's went, he's made that team better. I think it's going to do wonders for Drake London and Kyle Pitts. You fucking took Kyle Pitts when I was going to take him in my... I almost took him to Pitt, you know what I'm saying, before, but I thought he'd last one more round. I think Pitts is going to be a monster this year. The Bucks, they're just that team that no one talks about, but they freaking win. Baker Mayfield, I love that dude. I don't care. I love Baker Mayfield. I love his attitude. He's like, screw you if you don't like me. I don't give a damn. Like, the way he came in and stepped into Tom Brady's shoes and did what he did is amazing. Mike Evans, it doesn't matter who's throwing that dude the ball. He's getting 1,000 yards. Godwin had a terrible year and is still a very good receiver. Rashad White, I think, is a very good running back. A lot of people are, saying down on him. I think that he's, saying pretty good. I like their coach. The Saints are the Saints. I don't think that they have enough talent to get over the top. And I think the Panthers and Saints could definitely flip-flop. I could see the Saints at the bottom. I think Bryce Young is a lot better than what he showed last year. I think getting Deontay Johnson is going to help. When you have Chuba Hubbard as your starting back and you have Adam Thielen as your number one,
yeah, there's no...
What are you giving the guy?
There's no offensive firepower.
What are you giving the guy?
But even with Deontay Johnson, he can't catch the ball half the time.
But he can stretch the field. Adam Thielen's about freaking 60.
Yeah.
I mean, Well,
they cut their number with their second round receiver from last year, Terrace Marshall. They got his ass.
Yep.
And it's like
their rookie running back's hurt though. And
Jonathan Brooks.
Yes. So, but he's a very nice piece.
Yeah.
And
Jonathan Mingo, who knows what he is yet.
Right. They have some talent. Like I said, I think last year they didn't do him any favors. I think they kind of threw him out there, and I think it was kind of messed up how they did it. But I think he's a lot better than what he showed last year.
Yeah, I think you're spot on with the order. I think the Saints and Bucks could switch.
Yeah,
possibly. They could actually probably pretty much tie in the second spot. I don't think Carolina's going to win more than 6 games. Unless it's within their division. I mean, it'd all just beat up each other.
Yeah.
And then I have Atlanta, I think, is the secured number one in that division. Assuming
they have a very good defense too. It's a very sneaky defense.
Their safeties, Jesse Bates and Justin Simmons, they came over they have shored up the back of that defense.
Yeah.
So I do like the fact that they covered their safeties. I would have loved those safeties in Green Bay.
Yeah, for sure.
But that cost them a pretty penny back there. But yeah, they took ownership of the fact that they couldn't cover anybody last year, and they hopefully have fixed that issue.
Yeah.
And now that, Desmond Ridder, who just got cut in Arizona.
Yeah, that's wild.
Is gone, and now he's out of the league currently. After 2
He'll be a backup or a third string on somebody's team.
I don't understand how he's got to be put on somebody's practice squad.
Yeah.
He was highly touted. He played well to a point, but he just looked out of sorts within that offense.
Yeah.
And nervous as all hell.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He's just got to get behind a better quarterback to learn from, get in the right situation.
Right.
I don't think Jordan Love was that great a pickup in 2020 when we selected him, when we moved up to select him at 25 or 26 or whatever it was. But when you sit behind a Hall of Famer and learn.
Right. Quarterbacks don't have a chance to do that anymore. And it's so important.
To them.
Yeah. 100%.
And I mean, Green Bay has been fortunate with what has happened from Favre to Rodgers to.
But they did it the right way. They've got young, talent, and let them sit behind Hall of Famers and learn, and didn't just throw them in the damn fire. Yeah. And they kept some talent around them.
But a lot of the teams don't have that opportunity. They just have to throw them to the wolves and see what sticks.
Right.
And in New England, they're going through high draft pick after high draft pick after high draft pick with the quarterbacks, and they're just failing.
Yeah. So they're not putting anything around them.
No, yeah, it's
at all.
I mean, we have to spend so much money. Well, I mean, you have to spend a lot of draft capital on the quarterback,
right,
instead of getting the weapons for them,
right.
And that's kind of where the problem is.
All right, NFC North, your division. Here's how I got it. I got the Lions first, Packers second, Bears third, Vikings fourth. I think the Lions. I think they're a complete team. I really like Jared Goff. I think Amon-Ra is a stud. Sam Laporte is a stud. I think they just have a lot of talent. So do the Packers. I think the Packers are right there also. They could definitely flip-flop. The Bears, I've been saying it. I've been calling my shot on this. They gave Caleb Williams every weapon they possibly could. I think one of the most overlooked things, and people are like, oh, that doesn't matter. He's played in Southern California forever. He's used to 80, nice freaking weather. Oh, you're going to Chicago, my boy. You're going to be playing at negative 10 degrees. You're going against teams that like to hit. It's going to be a different ball game. And the Vikings, my boy Jefferson is hurting out there. I think Sam Darnold is a very serviceable veteran, but they just don't have the talent surrounding everywhere. I mean, they got Aaron Jones there. How much does he have left? Especially with Sam Darnold behind, quarterback. I think losing Kirk Cousins was a huge freaking mistake.
Well, J.J. McCarthy going down and not having that option with your first quarterback also helped.
They got Jaron Hall again, who's been there. Yeah. I saw you guys cut Sean Clifford and they re-signed him because you guys just signed Malik Willis.
We traded for Malik Willis.
Yeah. So I think, Malik Willis looked really good. I thought he did not get a fair shot in Tennessee. It's so important to have a serviceable backup. The Niners are a perfect example of that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have a serviceable, backup, and now you guys got two, I think that's super important. But Lions also, they got Hendon Hooker, and I like Hendon Hooker. So he's a hooker. But that's my order. I know your order is going to be reversed, but that's my order.
Yeah, I have Green Bay winning the division. Detroit real close with them. Then the Vikings, then the Bears. I am not sold on Caleb Williams. I saw a lot of him in the preseason, and he may have had 2 drives out of 19 that he had that resulted in something good.
Yeah.
I mean, literally for the entire first half of the game against Cincinnati, he was just trash.
Yep.
He throws a 55-yard scramble out to Roma Dunze at the end of the first half to get back on the board finally. Yep. Congratulations. You are still playing against the second and third
backups
defense in Cincinnati.
Exactly.
And you're putting up donuts.
And you still have one of the worst offensive lines in the game.
Yeah. I'm not sold on Caleb Williams. I mean, you know what? Fuck Chicago. I do. Oh, they still suck. And I'm glad. So, but with Green Bay, Detroit, I believe whoever wins the division and hosts the NFC Championship game goes to the Super Bowl. I don't think it's San Francisco. I think Green Bay or Detroit will probably have the 1 or the 2 seed. Hopefully it's the 1 seed.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just a lot of talent on both sides of the ball at Green Bay.
Uh-huh.
Then you get Jair Alexander back for the entirety of the year.
Josh Jacobs.
I mean, just on the defensive side, Rashawn Gary's healthy. Mm-hmm. We have fixed our inside linebacker problem. We still have Stokes on the other side of Jair Alexander. Xavier McKinney, you picked up the safety. We have oh my gosh, I can't remember. I know Valentine, and there are 2 different times in the backfield. Lucas Van Ness is coming out a second
Yeah.
year. Hopefully he has some pass rush game. Defensively, I think they're going to be sound. Not the greatest, probably, but good enough to keep whatever we have on offense in the game. And what we have on offense, I think, is special. We have a quarterback coming into a second year who was by far the best quarterback in the league
Second
the back half
season.
of the season. Once he figured out that he's got all of these different weapons with Wicks and Watson and Dobbs and Reed and Musgrave and Kraft, there is plenty of people that people have to worry about.
Right.
And the play calling with our head coach is amazing right now. I mean, he didn't do great with Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers probably took over most of that shit
Right.
on the field. But now that Jordan Love is actually listening to the coach and running the plays, I mean, I don't know how much leeway Jordan Love had last year with audibling and calling, getting out of certain things. If he did and it worked the second half of the season, and maybe there was a switch at some point in time where, okay, hey, yeah, I'm starting to learn this. I understand it more. And it went that direction. By all means, that's awesome. Because now he's not only learned the position, but he's playing the position.
Right.
And it looks so good. And they had a chance to beat San Francisco.
Yeah.
There was a faulty, bad drive at the end. He made a couple bad throws, the one across the middle. And okay, that was just sheer stupidity. That was Favre type shit. So they had that game 1-2. And they went into Dallas the day before and they just beat their ass. And nobody gave them a shot. And they thought, if they bring that into this year, sky's the limit for that team. It's like when Aaron Rodgers is second or third year. So, and the other thing is every 14 years, Green Bay was a Super Bowl. Okay. Favre in 96, Rodgers in 2010. It is 2024. It is Love in 2024.
Well, I mean, I got Lowe as my fantasy, but you know what I'm saying, quarterback. So the way too early Super Bowl prediction before the season has even started and a single snap has been taken. Who I have in the Super Bowl, Lions versus Texans. I think the Texans are going to be the next Chiefs.
Wow.
They are so talented, Super Bowl. But for them to do what they did last year and then to add more talent to that with the experience, I think I got Lions versus Texans, and I got Lions winning it all this year.
You think Detroit is going to host the Lombardi Trophy?
I do.
That is,
Yes, sir.
that's almost.
They have it on both sides of the ball. They got one of the biggest dogs on the defensive side. They got a lot of talent on the offense. They play very well.
I don't trust their head coach to do the right thing.
They play.
He may be again.
They play for him.
He's the next coming of Riverboat Ron. Damn, man. I mean, he had San Francisco beat until he became
it
the story.
Yep.
And that was bad. So for me, my AFC Championship game is Bengals Chiefs. And Joe Burrow goes into Kansas City and beats them again. And I have the Bengals in the AFC going to the Super Bowl. NFC, I have Lions at Packers. 2 NFC North teams, which is odd, but I believe the Lions get through the wild card area and go to Green Bay and get their ass handed to them in the snow. I have Green Bay, Cincinnati, and like I said, every 14 years, it is Love 2024. I have the Packers beating the Bengals in the Super Bowl.
Y'all heard it here first.
Where Favre got the trophy back in the Superdome in New Orleans.
All right, now, everybody's favorite time of year. It is fantasy football. A lot of drafts have already taken place. We've already had 2. I got another one. I'm probably going to have to start drafting here pretty soon. But I just wrote down my top 10 picks and why I think that. So, number 1, I think it's a...
And this is PPR?
PPR.
Scoring?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I got CMC. Last year, he had 1,459 rushing yards with 14 touchdowns, 67 receptions for 564 yards with 7 touchdowns. He just dominates the ball. He touches the ball so often that if he stays healthy, I don't see how he doesn't at least be up there in the numbers. Again, though, if Trent Williams does not sign, this could all change. I would not want the first pick without keepers. I would not want it because I wouldn't want to draft him. And he's on the Madden cover, so we know that's a damn curse.
Yeah.
I would not want that. Number 2, I got Tyreek Hill. He said back-to-back seasons with 1,700 plus yards. He was a yard away from having 1,800 yards last year, 13 touchdowns. Number 3, and I hate this pick, but CeeDee Lamb, he had 135 receptions for 1,749 yards and 12 touchdowns. What I like about what they do with him, though, they use him in the rushing game. He had 14 carries for 113 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground, which no other receivers have. Number 4, I got Amon-Ra St. Brown. He had 119 receptions with 1,515 yards, 10 touchdowns, and his stats have increased every year. Receptions, yards, and touchdowns. I have Justin Jefferson after him at 68 receptions. He only had 68 receptions last year. He had 1,074 yards with nobody throwing him the freaking ball. 5 touchdowns. Jamar Chase, this could go either way, but I have him at 6. Again, like I told you before, he had his best year as far as receptions last year with 100 receptions for 1,200 yards, 7 touchdowns. What I don't like about Jamar Chase is I think he's a great receiver. I don't think they have enough weapons on that team. I think he's going to get a lot of double teams. His targets have increased every year, but his production has gone down. His yards have gone down, and his touchdowns have gone down every year. Granted, he has other people throwing him the ball, and his best year was his rookie year when he was healthy and Joe Burrow was healthy, and they did great. But since then, it has been a digression. 7, I got Breece Hall. I think he was the second best back in the league last year without Aaron Rodgers. I think with Aaron Rodgers, it's no ceiling for him. He was 6 yards short of 1,000 yards with 4 touchdowns, but he had 76 receptions for 600 yards and 4 touchdowns. Bijan Robinson at 8, 976 yards with 4 touchdowns, 58 receptions, 487 yards and 4 touchdowns. Now, I had Breece Hall at 7. I got Garrett Wilson at, 9. If Aaron Rodgers is healthy, he transforms that team. Mm-hmm. Last year, he had 95 receptions with freaking backup stolen him the ball with 1,000 yards, 4 touchdowns. I got Jonathan Taylor at 10. He had a terrible year last year, 741 yards with 7 touchdowns, 19 receptions for 153 with a touchdown. But in 2021, he had 1,800 rushing yards and 21 touchdowns. He was the man, that year. He's just had nobody there. Now, on the outside looking in, I got A.J. Brown, Saquon Barkley, Mike Evans, and Nico Collins. But with all those, A.J. Brown and Barkley, there's just too many mouths to feed. A.J. Brown is too inconsistent. I've had him for years. And he'll get you 3 touchdowns 1 week, and then he'll go 4 weeks without doing anything.
He had a great first half, bad.
Yeah. Saquon Barkley, same thing. It's just too many mouths to, feed. I think he is going to get a decent amount of touchdowns. Touchdown-only leagues, I think he'll be all right. Yeah. PPR leagues, I don't think so. Mike Evans is a stud. There's too many people above him that have more talent around them that's going to help them out. I still think he'll hit 1,000 yards, but I think his touchdowns are going to regress a little bit. And Nico Collins, I think, is a freaking superstar. But again, too many mouths to feed. I think they're going to spread the ball around. There's just not going to be enough for him to crack that top 10.
I don't even think Nico Collins is going to be the number 1 this year. I think
it's going to be pretty split.
So my top 10, and I could rattle this off in my head. I actually have Breece Hall number 1.
Wow.
I know Christian McCaffrey is going to get the lion's share of everything that they do. I think they're going to use Debo a little bit more this year. I think they're going to allow Brock Purdy to throw the ball a little more this year.
They shouldn't.
Well, for the fact that they don't have Trent Williams currently and using up Christian McCaffrey early may detriment their chances Super Bowl wise. So I think he's not going to be as involved early on in the season.
Right.
Just to spare him later on because there's literally nothing behind him.
Yeah.
So I have Breece Hall. Then I have Christian McCaffrey. Then I have Bijan Robinson. I have
3 running backs.
I have 3 running backs at the top. Just and this is PPR reason, because they're going to get the lion's share of the runs, but they're also going to get 80, 90, maybe even 100 targets out of the backfield with the way that they're going to run their offenses.
I mean, Breece Hall had 76 last year. Bijan only had 58.
Bijan was not utilized last year for whatever reason. I don't know
But they
why.
have a lot of weapons. Kirk Cousins is going to be throwing the ball. If you look at Minnesota, what did their running backs didn't catch a ton of balls out of the
Dalvin
backfield.
Cook did.
He caught some.
That guy-
He wasn't catching 80, 90.
He was a top 3 fantasy pick
Oh, I know. I had him.
because of his involvement with the offense in both the run and the pass. I believe Bijan Robinson will be that way there.
Mm.
And then you start with your receivers. For me, I have CeeDee Lamb, just because of the sheer volume that
Yeah, he's going to get a ton of targets.
correct. And he's going to get a whole lot more targets than Tyreek Hill.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Just because he's a number one. Dak is literally looking for him on every pass because there's nothing left other than maybe in the red zone. There's a Jake Ferguson coming out in the end zone. CeeDee Lamb's going to get like 150 targets. Or maybe, well, technically it's like 100.
Yeah, last year Tyreek had 119 receptions. CeeDee Lamb had 135 receptions, but he had a lot more targets than that.
Yeah, he's. I mean, they could easily be pushing 200 targets.
Yeah.
And if Dak can actually throw the ball worth of shit, I mean, he'll have more receptions. I got CD. I got Tyreek. Then I have Amon-Ra St. Brown because he gets a lion's share of the targets. PPR wise, that's what, 7. Jamar Chase 8. And then I have Bijan, or not Bijan.
We got Justin Jefferson, Jonathan Taylor, Garrett Wilson.
I have Garrett Wilson 9. And then I have Jahmyr Gibbs 10.
Wow, you're leaving Jefferson off the list altogether.
Oh, shit. Hold on. Actually, I have Jefferson 9.
Okay.
Then 10 is, Gibbs.
Okay.
Yeah, forgot about Jefferson.
My only problem with Gibbs is that he just splits carries.
Yeah.
That's the only problem I have, and everyone else is a 1. Like Bijan doesn't have any kind of. He's going to be getting everything. CMC is going to be getting everything.
Yeah.
Breece Hall is going to be getting everything. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get,
everything I've read and I've listened to and what their philosophy is going forward with their offense, Gibbs is the highlight of the night.
Oh, he's a stud.
He is one that's going to be a lot more involved, and you're not going to see a whole lot of David Montgomery this year. You may see David Montgomery on the goal line, inside the 10 every now and then. I don't think you're going to see him between the 20s much.
Yeah.
I think it's the Jahmyr Gibbs show. He showed it the back half of last year, and I think it's just going to carry on from that. He's made bets with teammates, and he's going to be the 1,000 man.
The problem with that is they have a superstar tight end.
True.
That's a problem for a running back. That's something else that might hurt Bijan, is because I think Kyle Pitts is going to be heavily involved, especially in the red zone, where Breece Hall is not going to have to worry about that. Inside the 20, Breece Hall is going to get the ball a lot.
It's Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, 100%.
Those two guys.
Yeah, 100. You don't say 100%. I mean, I like the list. I learned my lesson with taking freaking, running backs. I will never do it again unless I have a late round pick. But I've just learned my lesson. Running backs, it's just like rare nowadays that they play 17 games. They just don't play every game. It's like they get hurt so freaking often, and injuries are just, it is freaking what it is. But with running backs, it's so rare that you get one. Like, I'll be shocked if CMC stays healthy all year. With the amount that they use him, I'll be shocked if he stays healthy all year. It's just you can't take that much punishment and that many hits without eventually something getting hurt, So with that being said, I do want to talk about the release of the Topps Chrome basketball real quick. If you guys do not know, Topps Chrome came out yesterday with their basketball unlicensed hobby boxes and blasters. I thought they were a little higher priced than what I expected. They're like $450 to $500.
That's on the secondary market.
Yeah.
They came out at $299.
Yeah.
But
the cars themselves, I think, are ugly. I think they did not do a great job in designing the cards. But the problem I have is just like with any basketball product out right now, you're chasing Wemby and that's it. But there is a $1 million bounty for the gold vinyl Wemby Auto 101.
Yeah.
So that's what everybody, I mean, they're brilliant for doing that. I think Topps marketing and what they do is so much better than Panini's. They're making it to where they're going to sell out of everything because they're putting these massive bounties out. All these, you know, saying there was $100,000 by Jeff Wilson, and then goalie came out for, we're going to give you 150, you know, saying 1,000, and then Bless came out, and now all these people are trying to top each other to get this freaking card that's not even licensed. It's just, it's brilliant.
I'm interested to see what the colored refractors go for Wemby.
I mean, I know just the pure base, and it's just because it just came out, but the pure base are going on eBay for $100.
Yeah, I've seen them dropping over the last couple.
Oh yeah, that's how every time something brand new comes out, the first like couple of days, it's stupid.
Yeah,
and then they will start. You know what I'm saying? They'll start dropping.
But I would love to have one of the. I mean, Wemby's autos, they're never going to go down unless he just has an enormous backslide from his.
Absolutely.
So I mean, just having the fact being able to get Wemby autos in a set that is no
right.
I mean, instead of having the Bowman draft, what a Bowman's best draft or whatever it was at all in college years, and have them in a European league, whatever it was.
I am also excited for the first time ever for the WNBA product to start coming out. Origins is going to be out at the end of this month. Prism is coming out next month. Not excited about the price. I don't know what it is yet, but I know Prism has been $150 for the past like 3 years, every year. I promise you, it's going to be between $600 and $800 because they're going to have Caitlin Clark Color Blast, and they're going to have all these inserts, and it's going to be such a huge demand for it that it's going to be outrageous.
I just can't see it selling out.
I don't know, man. I know we just did Burbank, and every WNBA card that I had of Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Cameron Brink, Asia Wilson, every single one sold out on the first day. It's just people are they want them.
I don't see the steam from the locomotive as it was 3-4 months ago.
I think that
I see it hit a high, and now it's starting to creep back low again.
Well, I hope it does so the prices drop, but I don't see it. I'm very interested to see what Origins does, because Origins you only get like 6 or 8 cards. So, and you get 2 autos, maybe 3.
If they overprice that, it will sit in their warehouse.
Yeah. So we'll see. I think the NBA product is outrageously, you know what I'm saying, priced right now. And what was it? Spectra, whatever it is, just came out today, first off the line. And it started out at $1,500 and sold out by 11. You're chasing one person.
Yeah.
You can't even get an auto in. And it went for $1,100, and it's just.
And Spectra, for whatever reason, I love Spectra's cards.
Sell.
I mean, I bought one for neither. I mean, I got the Clifford number 30. I love their cards. I love the color. I love the way it's made, the thickness. They have clear events, but it just doesn't resell.
It doesn't. I don't understand it either.
I don't get it.
Hey, what I am excited about, and this is another product that does not resell well, and I don't understand it, Phoenix basketball is coming out this year. Phoenix is coming out with a basketball product. I'm super excited about it.
Retail.
Yes, I am. I think Phoenix is the most underappreciated product on the market. I love their product. It's reasonably priced. It's usually around $350 to $400. You get a good amount of cards. Inserts are good. The designs of the cards are good. I love their product. I don't know why they don't resell.
I love Phoenix.
So I'm very excited about that. Anything else that you want to touch on before we get out of here?
No, we'll work on the college football later. There's the new college football. We have 12-team tournament now.
Mm-hmm.
And what is that going to do to the bowl games
Right.
that there used to be 38 of?
Yeah.
I mean, the Idaho potato people want their
Stupid.
bowl games.
Yeah. It's all about money. You know that.
Agreed. But how are you going to work in bowl games when you have a 12-team tournament?
Mm-hmm.
And how are you going to keep the little guy out of the 12-team tournament?
Right.
I
Right.
kind of want to go on with that a little bit. I know you're not a huge college football guy.
I'll watch it sometimes. I'm usually working on Saturdays, so it's not something I watch a lot. But
Yeah, I have soccer now.
yeah, and coaching, that's it. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Don't forget, check out the YouTube, check out the draft. I got to make my selection in this draft right now.
Check out Whatnot.
It's on me.
Sactown Packhound.
Oh my God.
Check out the Whatnot on Sactown Packhound. Give him a like. Go check out his singles. Go spend some money. Got good deals. I'll pick.
I don't even want to tell you because it's not who I wanted.
What pick did you have?
9.
Was it?
It was 9. Or 10.
I had 12th. I got the very last pick. Now I got back to back.
Oh, the first 3 was
So-
real fast.
Okay, so I got Saquon and Garrett Wilson.
Was your games available?
No. Michael Pittman's available. Nico Collins is available. Travis Etienne's available. It is what it is.
Everybody passed on Saquon, which is interesting because our drafts.
Yeah, it went quick.
Yeah,
One of our drafts, it went first. Although that was with keepers, though. So,
that's true.
all right, y'all. We appreciate it. And you ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell out of here. Let's go.